In NAPE, we say that our ideas find oil and gas. I would like to add that the ideas, competence, and forthrightness of our presidents have ensured that NAPE not only has survived these past 45 years, but is also thriving today. A testament to this fact is that NAPE has created a lot of industry captains and has also been served by many captains. Arguably, NAPE is the only industry association whose former presidents have founded and successfully operate indigenous E&P companies to date. She has also contributed her fair share of leaders in our national oil company, the NNPC, as well as the IOCs and service companies. That is the story of these men and women of excellence who has left a lasting legacy on the footprint of our association's history. It is for this very cause that we recognize, appreciate, and celebrate them today. Whereas there are 3 categories in the 2020 NAPE presidential documentary. In this 3rd episode, I present to you the 3rd set of presidents between the year 2013 till date.
My name is George Osama.
So my name is Adedoja Jalabi.
My name is Biodun Adesanya.
My name's Dr. Andrew Jaresi.
My name is Alex Nachitaka.
I don't know about achievement. I can tell you what we did. Let somebody else decide whether it was an achievement or not. One of the things we did, first, the whole idea of giving awards like Fellowship Award, what do you call this now, the Adams Award, the Suno Award. We try to restructure those things so that we don't just give people in droves. Why? When you make it too easy or too cheap, so to speak, it becomes difficult to ascertain who is who. And if you look at what is happening in other associations, like those ones that are registered, for example, where you have to qualify to be a member, you don't just give fellowship like that. Once you're a fellow, you are highly recognized everywhere, and that's what we try to do. That's one. 2, we realized that having to beg major operating companies, especially for money, wasn't the best way to secure funding for most of our operations. So we decided to go into assets. We bought one of the properties, and we even tried to build a conference center of our own. But of course, things didn't go the way we planned because 1 or 2 years thereafter, the price of crude oil fell to a level that nobody was ready to invest in such things.
Most of the time when we meet, our technical meetings, the information highway, just boosting our communication in NAPE is something I'm very proud of. We would have posters, physical posters made and sent to different companies. A lot of the time, those posters wouldn't get to the companies on time, or they get there and they're not even circulated. So we started using the electronic broadcast method. We would put up posters with the details of the talk, the abstracts, and some details of the presenters. And we started doing email blasts for everything. Email blasts for monthly sessions, email blasts for the conference, getting the information about the conference early, much, much earlier, like 6 months in, starting planning. By the first month of the new year, all the information regarding the conference is ready and set and ready to go.
We did a couple of things in my time. We had the NAPE NMGS mini conference in University of Ibadan. That was during that period. And I was the president-elect at that time. And the role of the president-elect is part of the continuing education program, of which the mini conference, planning the conferences, you are the chairman of all conference planning committees and all of that. So we pulled all those things through. We did that. We had all our regular monthly technical meetings without losing any 1 month. They were all, we were able to have those technical presentations. All of them were indeed sponsored by these companies. We had a pre-conference workshop where we thought it was important that we discuss exploration in frontier basins. And we did this, and we managed to get NNPC to sponsor it. And the NNPC indeed sponsored it. And after the event, the GMD at that time invited me and asked me to work with some other very senior NAPE members to advise the Frontier Exploration Service just to peer review what they were going to do in the Gongola Basin. So we went through that exercise with them, and I'm happy to report that they made a discovery in the Polmani River too. Of course, there were quite a number of other contributing factors to that, but importantly was the fact that NAPE had an input, and it was a success story, and that gave a footprint to exploration activity in that part of the country. You know, so we then went on. I then went on to organize a workshop in Abuja as a follow-up. So that workshop is intended, you know, we've always looked at the Cretaceous basins, but we haven't quite updated all our findings. A lot of people have written papers about the Cretaceous basins for so many years, academia, industry people. I provided a platform in Abuja where everybody is updated, especially in line with current knowledge, current science, and current data that we have. So that exercise now created a committee that will sustain that exercise going forward. But by and large, NAPE membership increased. I don't have the figure right away, but the NAPE membership grew at all levels, from the junior to the students, then to the active and to the associate members. We were able to increase the NAPE membership. In particular, we were able to bring in people from the financial sector, into the association. So because we believe that there's supposed to be a good synergy between the industry and the financial sector. The University Assistance Program was completely sustained. We were able to continue to support and interact with the academia, making sure that there's a good level of interaction between the industry and the universities, especially where they offer geoscience courses.
Well, one of them has said about the CAC registration. Is very important that as a non-profit organization, your documents have to be correct. You don't want to be found on the wrong side of the law. So I corrected that anomaly. I made sure that our records are up to date. So if you go into CAC website and you put in NAPE, you'll be able to know that we're up to date. Also, to do that, you needed to also submit the new constitution, get a board of trustees in place, like I said. So those were really some of the foundation work that we did. The other thing also was push the envelope a little bit on the student participation. So before we left, we're pushing to make sure that the NMGS NAPE mini conference that we hold in the university, we tried to make that very successful. During my tenure, we took it to Warri for the first time. And we brought in the Petroleum Training Institute and the Federal University of Petroleum Resources in NEFU, two of them together as a body for the first time, and made sure that they co-host. So there were a lot of student participation. I was there myself. They did their presentation, their roadshow, visited the institute. Very interesting that they have a rig on site, even at PTI, that is not of much use. But a lot of the students has access to it. Even lecturers, participated in seeing those live rigs for the first time. And I think that's an area that the association should continue to push because at the end of the day, the old ones will go away, the younger ones will have to take the responsibility. So that's another area.
Just like the recent webinar we had, the director and CEO of DPR made a statement that NAPE is the oil and gas, and the oil and gas is NAPE. The achievements of NAPE are just too many to be listed, but just to mention a few. The industry has grown to a level, so many new things happening, government approvals being given as a result of communiques from fantastic workshops from NAPE discussions. Just a typical example, the marginal field that so many companies were able to come out of, which is adding to the reserves of the nation, adding to production, generating jobs, and doing so much for the industry. Currently, we have even a mini flow station being run by one of our past presidents and a distinguished fellow of this association. All this as a result of contributions of NAPE. The fiscal bill, the PIB, NAPE have been there, a lot of NAPE inputs, local content. There's virtually no key issue in the industry today that does not have NAPE inputs. So there are so many things, the economy of the nation, before any budget is announced, the price of crude in the international market need to be discussed and agreed. It is NAPE ideas that find oil and gas. NAPE is the only professional body that can help to add to reserves of the nation, where the strength of every oil-producing country comes from.
It's tough, but it depends. There are too many criteria you can use to rate or rank. Well, I don't know, maybe 7. Maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know. But to say we have not made any impact, that would be unfair. That would be an unfortunate statement to make. To say we have made the best impact we could make, that is also not going to be true. So I would say 6, 7.
It's not that simple to say, it's a scale of 1, not good, or a scale of 10 that is super excellent. NAPE is made of people. It's an association of industry professionals. At every point in time, we're at any point on the scale. There are some things we are doing fantastically well, some things that we're not doing so well, but sometimes we get really good. The circumstances are changing. There are more challenges. So we have to adapt. So that is the thing. NAPE, like every other association, every organization that is organized by human beings, we have to adapt. And that, I think, is what we're doing. Again, though, I would still like to see a better functioning secretariat. I think we will get there. We will get there. So many people have given so much. I'm hoping that we will maintain that legacy, and that we will not only maintain the legacy, but improve on it.
I would say absolutely yes for NAPE. They have. But is there a need for improvement? Also, absolutely, yes. There's a need for improvement. Because the environment is changing, education is changing. The other area that I think NAPE needs to push, again with NMGS, the revision of curriculum in the universities. I'm not sure what they have right now is adequately serving the industry given where we are. I still believe a lot of those things are still obsolete. So they need to help the universities and the lecturers to take a leapfrog into the current environment and prepare a ground for them to look into the future.
We be ability to turn around a situation that initially gave so much concern to so many members of our professional body, ability to take NAPE online. Visibility of NAPE have gone beyond what has been prior to my assumption of office. The advent of COVID have taken NAPE to international levels. We move into webinars. We've had about 4. These have never taken place in the history of NAPE. For the first time, we have programs that are being watched worldwide. We have global participation. Some of our webinars had over 1,000 participants from across the world. That has not been recorded in the history of NAPE. So, in spite of the lockdown and the general confusion within the economy, NAPE have been able to weather the storm. And without the proper leadership, it is difficult to get such going. Today, a lot of members are joining NAPE massively. We have massive applications coming in under my leadership. Students, YPs, working class group, globally, so many people want to be part of NAPE today. So NAPE have gone international, which is supposed to have been. So under my leadership, with the executive that I lead, we want to believe that we have done well from the comments from members and the achievements that we have recorded. We've been able to set up what we call NAPE Think Tank Committee. NAPE Think Tank was inaugurated in February. It has never existed. We have a think tank that have the best of the technocrats in the industry that are set up to drive it, which is being chaired by our chairman of BOT, our distinguished chief Chamberlain Oibo, a fellow of NAPE, past president, driving it as the chairman, with secretary as Doris Akpova, a past vice president of NAPE, and a distinguished fellow. The public secretary is our own Toyin Akinosho, who is going to drive it. He's a fellow of NAPE. The think tank have 4 subcommittees. One is going to be liaising with the presidency and the key ministries like petroleum, environment, education, mines and steel, water resources, the key ministries that we have to be dealing with, as well as a subcom in charge of the National Assembly. The bills that are coming up, we want to have our input documented and well captured. We have a subcom that is going to be dealing with the Nigerian Governors Forum. We need the governors to know what we do, who we are. We have a subcom that is going to be dealing with similar professional bodies, so that when we have views to advocate and push through the government approvals, we need to move into Abuja as one group, instead of showing a kind of division that have not helped to make enough progress in the industry. So these are some of the achievements. The YP of NAPE have become stronger. So many things have happened in spite of the lockdown. And I want to believe with this few, we've been able to organize even nights of tribute virtually for our past president and some fellows that passed on in recent time under this lockdown. And we're able to get even participation across the world. Night of tribute virtually. So looking at all this, in the midst of COVID pandemic and the lockdown, I want to believe we have tried. The message for members and the guests will be that in August 1975, a professional body was born by a few founding fathers. 45 years down the line, that very small group had grown to a membership of over 10,000. Not just that, NAPE has been able to have even an international chapter that is doing very well in the UK, Europe. NAPE have grown to the level of adding so much to the reserves of the nation, creating jobs, helping government to set up what we know as marginal field operation today, which has come to stay. NAPE will continue to grow. We are excited that majority of our founding fathers are still here with us. And that's why I'm so passionate to get to set up this 45th anniversary celebration in such a way that we'll be able to hear from them what led to the formation of this great association. We are lucky to have them still with us. Posterity will judge us right to have interacted with them, to record their personal speeches, for them to tell us what led to formation of NAPE and whether we have actually been able to achieve the dream they had for this professional body. I'm excited to be the president in office, getting the comprehensive documentation of what NAPE as an association is, and having recorded speeches from the founding fathers, right from the inaugural presidents and the very first set of members that attended the very first meeting, and so many others, emeritus fellows and members that have contributed immensely, financially and otherwise, to the growth of this professional body that started 45 years ago right here in Lagos, and today is the biggest in the whole of Africa as a continent, as far as the oil and gas is concerned, with members manning key parastatals and very sensitive arms of government and running business that is creating jobs, adding to a lot of value to the economy of the nation. We're excited about this anniversary, and we are going to hear more, looking at the caliber of persons, the panelists, and the participation and the speeches that will come out of the event, which will remain memorable even to the younger generation coming behind us. So after the 45th anniversary, there will be little questions to be asked about what NAPE is about, because almost every story from inception to date must have been told, must have been captured, must have been recorded, and it will go into the e-library of NAPE. It will be on all NAPE platforms, where we have over 10,000 followers today, to be able to read and appreciate who we are. To me, it's a big issue, and it's a big achievement, and I'm excited it is happening under my leadership. Thank you very much.
As it is said, whatever has a beginning must have an end. We have tried to summarily showcase clips from our past presidents. Now guess what? you have only seen a tip of the iceberg. Kindly log on to the NAPE portal to listen to the full interviews of each president of NAPE. Till we come your way again, thank you and God bless you for watching.